Now, I think it's pretty safe to say that when you examine all the divisions over at Disney, such as Marvel Studios, Lucasfilm, Walt Disney Animation Studios, and Pixar, just as a couple of examples there, they really have been going under a lot of pressure based on Bob Iger's cost-cutting measures and everything related to all of the changes that have been happening behind closed doors over at Disney. This involves the firing of hundreds of employees across the board over at Pixar that is already greenlit by Bob Iger, not to mention everything happening else with animators getting let go over at Walt Disney Animation Studios. Now that brings us to everything happening with Lucasfilm, and the latest with the upcoming REY Star Wars movie featuring Daisy Ridley, produced by Kathleen Kennedy. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. So, the thing about the upcoming REY film, we know that, of course, everything related to Kathleen Kennedy's direction of this film is going to be disastrous, not just over at Lucasfilm, but also for Disney, because this is without a doubt going to be another box office disaster, if not quite as big as the Marvels, if the way things are going the way that they are, still to this very day. Now, when you look at everything related to Kathleen Kennedy's stance against the fan backlash, against the pushback about this movie, and what the fans really think about the upcoming REY film, this is where it begins to show you, and it really serves as living proof of exactly what Kathleen Kennedy really believes in, and what she's trying to push into all of these upcoming Star Wars films and/or TV shows. Now, with that being said, with all divisions at Disney suffering due to both Bob Iger's cost-cutting measures along with the lack of creativity in recent projects, one major development has to do with Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy and what she had to deliver in response to the ongoing fan backlash and pushback over the REY movie. She went on to deliver the following. As a producer, I think it's important to acknowledge and address what we have noticed with our latest announcement for our upcoming first Star Wars film since 2019 with Miss Ridley. I believe, as one who supports women and their roles in both television and film, that the loud side of the community really should think twice about what they say and learn from their mistakes, and to learn the value of diversity, equity, and inclusion into our products here at Lucasfilm, and how this is nothing to do with an agenda. I think it's proper that fans should keep biased takes to themselves that don't hold much logic or add any kind of positive feedback to our writing team and our long list of creators working on the next series of film and television programs. It's important not just for our writers and directors on continuing our efforts to expand sequel-era material for our fans who support it, but also allows us to focus on a clean slate for the Star Wars franchise and where we go from here after the Skywalker saga. This is something that I had the liberty to discuss with the Lucasfilm Story Group, that fans can be very over-demanding of what source material should be respected and or inserted into our projects, which is why it was better for us to just take the old stories from George and what he endorsed well over 25 years ago for what fans like to call legends and apply that to our new tales in order to provide fresh takes. Hey guys, let me just pause here quick. Basically, she is alluding to the fact that Rey is going to be the new Luke in the upcoming REY Star Wars film, who builds a new Jedi Order and a whole new Jedi Academy, basically. Moving on, she goes on to continue. This allows us to detach from the burden of George's vision strictly so that we can change and create a new meaning for what Star Wars should be all about. We are exploring new galaxies, and we are looking for new ways to rewrite history in this universe and where we go from there. Quite frankly, I think it's irresponsible of fans that are very entitled to suggest that they own something such as these creations that have been with us for well over 40 years. It's not about the fans. It's about the creators and the stories they want to tell in order to create new fans. I talked this over with Bob, who in my opinion is such a great soul, for allowing us to explore the stories that we want to, that not only respect women, but will also be made by women. Our next feature focusing on Rey is something that we hope to one day expand into a full-fledged trilogy, and where we can go from there. And if some fans don't support that vision, that's a challenge we will have to deal with when we cross that bridge. Rey is the future for post-sequel material, as we had to move on from the Skywalkers. There was simply no other way to go realistically, while also keeping things familiar for our fans that grew up with the sequel films. Now guys, let me pause here quick another moment. She's basically saying that they're playing things safe again. They want to keep things familiar. They want to repeat, things that have already been done, is basically what she's alluding to. This is exactly what Bob Iger admitted to back in 2018, that he played things way too safely with The Force Awakens, and why it was pretty much a beat-for-beat remake of Star Wars A New Hope. I mean, there was a trench run scene in there, of all things, right? So, when you look at this is without a doubt not just a recreation of what was done in Star Wars Legends for Luke rebuilding the Jedi Order, creating his own Jedi Academy with a set of new rules and stuff like that, but this is also Kathleen Kennedy's poor way of justifying why she can just throw Rey in there and mark her down as the new Luke, right? Moving on. She goes on to conclude, it's something that Bob and I agreed on, and how we had no differences on those decisions. At the same time, this will all cater to current and recent fans that are just starting to get into this franchise, and gravitating toward new fans as well, that we didn't quite touch just yet, as we hope to expand our global audience beyond our own expectations. Now guys, this is why I keep on saying that The Acolyte is going to be a trash fire by the later portion of this year. And yes, I say the later portion of this year because The Acolyte is not coming out anytime soon. We're looking at late summer into the fall where it stands right now. They're still in post-production. They're trying to get this thing done as fast as possible. And basically that series by Leslie Headland, not looking too bright. We all know who she was a personal assistant for. I'm sure that you all know that whole story. But not just that, based on what she's throwing into that show is just a precursor. It's just the prelude to what is about to be done in the upcoming Rey film. So again, Kathleen Kennedy is very naive. She's very much wrapped up in her own bubble and in her own mind, where she doesn't really have a great sense of reality and what Star Wars should really be all about. Look, I've said this several times, I support all women getting a chance to portray a role in any franchise out there, but let it serve the story. Let it come naturally through the process of writing a script where it's needed. We have seen great examples over the years, and I know I bring this up a lot, but we have things out there like Kill Bill, Alien, Terminator that feature, strong female roles that are properly written into the story. And so, this is another prime example of doing it in an inauthentic way that really feels disassociated with the core value of the brand and exactly what the source material should really be all about, right? So overall, I am really intrigued to hear what you all have to say about the ongoing scenario happening with Lucasfilm's take on the upcoming Rey movie, quite possibly becoming now into a whole trilogy. Hopefully that does not happen. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.